Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rekakadash. Double honors goes to the elders and apostles of GMS. Salutations to the hopeful elect. This is Arab Abaya coming at you from the Chicago camp with a quick lesson. I titled this lesson, China and Iran's oil. So I got this quick clip where it was talking about what's happening behind the scenes, and I thought it'd be really interesting, so I want to bring it out. So first of all, before I play this video, I wanted to read a quick scripture. I want to go to Psalms. I want to say that Esau's doing great wickedness on the earth, and he's got the earth in mourning. And, he really does think that he's going to be able to keep a hold on the economy and keep a hold on the people. But everyone's turning against him. The whole world sees their holy people for what they are. They see who's the wicked of the earth. They actually seeing in 3D what's exactly going on and who's causing the most confusion. But anyway, I want to read this quick scripture. I want to go to Psalms chapter 50, verse 21. It says, the things that thou hast done, and I kept silent. Thou thought that was all together such as one with thyself, but I will reprove thee, and I will set them in order before thy eyes. It says, verse 22, it says, now consider this, that ye may forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to be delivered. Whosoever offer praise, glorify me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright, will I show my salvation. Will I show the salvation of God? So the righteous are going to see the salvation of God. The wicked, the Lord's going to reprove, and that's Esau. Verse 21 is talking about Esau. He's going to be reproved because of the wickedness and what he's doing. He really does think that he has a right to go and just steal a president and steal a country and steal all the resources. But the Lord's going to correct him very soon. So anyway, I'll go ahead and play this video. It's a little long. It's about I think 5 minutes.
Headline: every briefing, every news anchor has told you the same story. America is fighting Iran. Warships in the Persian Gulf, bombs on Iranian cities, missiles on American bases, a blockade that started 2 days ago and is now choking off Iranian ports. Iran versus America. The simple version. Here's what that story is missing. 97% of the oil Iran is selling right now, every barrel, every tanker, every transaction is going to one country. Not 40-something countries. Not 10 countries. One. That country is not the United States. That country is not Saudi Arabia, or France, or Germany, or any of the Gulf states. That country is China. And once you understand that simple fact that almost every drop of Iranian oil currently being pumped, shipped, and sold is flowing directly to Beijing, the entire shape of this war changes. What looks like a blockade of Iran is actually a blockade of China's oil supply chain. What looks like a fight over a narrow strip of water in the Persian Gulf is actually a fight over whether the American dollar or the Chinese yuan runs the global oil trade. And what looks like a conversation between Washington and Tehran is actually a message being sent quietly, but unmistakably, from Washington to Beijing.
Wow.
This video is going to explain exactly how that works. Why the blockade that started on Sunday is not really about Iran. Why Iran built its entire oil strategy around China years ago. And why the real confrontation that is unfolding right now, while everyone's eyes are on warships in the Strait of Hormuz, is between the two most powerful countries on Earth. And Iran is just the battlefield they chose. Let us start with the number, because the number is what nobody on television is explaining to you. Right now, as you are watching this, 157 million barrels of Iranian oil are sitting on ships in the ocean, not in tanks on land, on ships, loaded, paid for, moving. This information comes from a maritime tracking firm called Windward that uses satellite data to follow every major oil tanker on the planet. Of those 157 million barrels, 97.6% have a single destination: China. The other 2.4% goes to a small handful of other buyers who still take Iranian crude despite American sanctions. But practically speaking, Iranian oil is Chinese oil. That is the business. That is the market. That is the customer. Think about what that means for a moment. Iran has been under heavy American sanctions for years. Ordinary buyers, European...
I want to just say this right quick, that America, aka Babylon, always is into doing wicked things, unrighteous dealings. And that's what you're seeing with those sanctions. All those sanctions that they do is because if they can't control the economy, or they can't control the leader, then they'll slap them sanctions on them and make them, where they can't do their business. They can't make money, as a country I'm talking about. Let's go to a quick scripture. Let's go to Sirach chapter 10, verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So you're seeing right now, that's what's going on, is that Esau, aka Babylon, is doing whatever they can to keep a grip on the earth. But this is going to ultimately lead to that woe, that third woe, which is World War III. That's where this is going to be going. You see the two heavy hitters are now going to be at odds with each other because of this oil. So let me finish letting that video play a little bit more.
Indian oil companies, Japanese refiners, Indian power plants cannot openly purchase Iranian crude without facing American penalties. So over the past decade, Iran built an entire shadow oil economy designed around one buyer who was willing to ignore American sanctions. That buyer was China. Iran invested billions in pipelines, ports, and tanker fleets specifically to serve Chinese refineries. China invested in Iranian infrastructure in return. The two countries built a relationship that is not really about friendship. It is about oil flowing one direction and money flowing the other. And here's the detail that makes this relationship deadly to American interests. The money flowing from China to Iran is not in American dollars. It is in Chinese yuan, or sometimes in cryptocurrency, or sometimes in untraceable barter arrangements, anything except dollars processed through banks that answer to the United States government. For 50 years, the global oil trade has been conducted almost entirely in dollars. When Saudi Arabia sells oil to Japan, the transaction happens in dollars. When Nigeria sells oil to Germany, it happens in dollars. This is called the petrodollar system, and it is one of the reasons the United States has so much financial power over the rest of the world. Every country that buys oil...
I'm going to leave that right there, but I want to say that this is what the Bible talks about. This is what's going to lead to that third woe. I want to prove that. I want to go to Zechariah 14 and 12, where this shows, this talks about nuclear war. Zechariah 14 and 12, it says, and it should be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. So it's talking about the 12 tribes. It says, and their flesh should consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes should consume away from their holes, and their tongue should consume away from their mouth. So, what could possibly do that? That's going to be those nuclear bombs going off. That's going to be melting these people, just melting them, just evaporating them. Let's go. I want to go to another scripture. I want to go to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. This is another example of nuclear war. It says, but the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night, and the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. That's that loud boom from the nuclear bomb. It says, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth and also the works therein shall be burnt up. It says, seeing then that all these things should be dissolved, what matter of persons that ye ought to be, but in holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of Yahweh, wherein the heavens shall be on fire. It says, wherein the heavens being on fire should be dissolved, and the elements should melt with fervent heat. So that's what's going to happen, man. The ultimate, the end all be all is nuclear war is coming from this, and it's not going to be pretty. I'll let this video finish out. It's almost done.
Needs dollars. Every country that needs dollars has to keep a relationship with American banks, and every American bank can be used as a tool of American foreign policy. What China and Iran built quietly over the past decade was the first real crack in that system. A major oil exporter selling directly to a major oil importer without using American dollars or American banks at all. For years, the volume was small, a few million barrels here and there. Now, after 6 weeks of war, with ordinary Western buyers scared away from Iranian oil by American warnings, that small crack has become the entire business, 97%. Nearly everything Iran sells goes to the country that agreed to buy it outside the dollar system. That is what Washington is actually trying to stop. Here is where this connects directly to something happening right now, and this is the part I want you to pay close attention to because the timing is not a coincidence. President Xi Jinping of China is scheduled to meet with President Trump in the coming weeks. This meeting has been on the calendar for months. It was supposed to cover trade, technology, Taiwan, the usual list of issues that two superpowers argue about. The American side knew the meeting was coming, the Chinese side knew it was coming, the entire world knew it was coming. And then, weeks before that meeting starts taking shape, the United States put a blockade around Iran. Think about what that timing actually communicates. It is not an accident. It is not a reaction to something that happened yesterday.
Wow.
Everyone is watching the wrong war.
Yeah. So anyway, this is going to lead to, war. That's what's going to happen. Nuclear war, because the Bible said it. The Bible prophesied that was going to happen. I want to give all praises and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors goes to the elders and apostles of GMS. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom to next time, Lord willing. Shalom.